You say it without thinking. 2 words. I'm fine. And most of the time, that's the moment the conversation ends. Watch what happens the next time somebody asks how you're doing and you give them that answer. Their body relaxes. Their attention shifts. They move on. Not because they don't care, not always, but because you just gave them a signal. Nothing to deal with here. That's what makes those 2 words so dangerous. Because I'm fine usually isn't just an answer. It's an escape hatch, a social cue, a way to shut the door before anyone gets close enough to notice what's really going on. And no, this isn't just about lying. Everybody already knows I'm fine is often not true. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is what the phrase actually does. When you say I'm fine, you're not just describing your mood. You're managing the situation. You're making the other person comfortable. You're telling them they do not need to ask another question, stay in the moment, or deal with anything messy. In other words, you take the weight of the moment and carry it yourself. That's the part people miss. You think you're keeping things simple. What you're actually doing is removing responsibility from the person in front of you. Because imagine if you answered honestly.
Not dramatically, just honestly. Honestly, I've had a rough day. Not great, if I'm being real. I'm tired in a way sleep won't fix. Now the other person has a choice to make. Now they have to respond. Now they have to either show up or reveal that they were only asking out of habit. I'm fine protects them from that moment. And maybe that sounds small, but do it every day, for months, for years, and it changes the way people relate to you.
They stop checking.
Not because they're heartless, because you train them not to expect the truth.
If every door they knock on is locked, eventually they stop knocking.
And the worst part? The people who care about you back off. But the people who don't care learn something even more useful.
They learn you'll absorb things quietly. They learn you'll smooth it over.
You'll take the hit. You'll say you're good when you're not. You'll say it's okay when it isn't. You'll say, I'm fine, because that's easier than making anyone uncomfortable. So now your exhaustion becomes invisible. Your boundaries become negotiable. And your honesty becomes optional. That's where this stops being a harmless habit. Because once the world learns that your pain comes with no inconvenience, people start treating it that way. And here's what makes it worse. Saying I'm fine doesn't actually make the feeling disappear. It just buries it under performance. You stay composed. You keep your face neutral. You sound normal. Maybe you even smile. But your body still keeps score. Stress doesn't vanish just because you chose a socially acceptable sentence. It goes somewhere. It sits in your chest, your jaw, your stomach, your shoulders. It waits. So outwardly, everything looks clean. Internally, nothing got resolved. That's the hidden cost of being easy to deal with. You become the place where all the unresolved stuff gets stored. And after a while, something even stranger happens. You stop saying it just to other people. You start saying it to yourself. That's the real trap. Because repeated often enough, I'm fine becomes automatic, a reflex, a script. Your mouth answers before your mind even checks in. You stop asking what you actually feel because you already know what you're supposed to say. So now it's not just a social habit, it's an internal one. You flatten your own experience before you even fully feel it. You're not just hiding your emotions anymore. You're interrupting them.
And to be clear, the answer is not to turn every casual interaction into a therapy session. Nobody's saying you need to unload your soul every time a cashier asks how your day's going. The point is smaller than that, more precise. Use "I'm fine" when it's true. And when it's not, try something slightly more honest. Not a confession, just a crack in the wall. Something like, "Honestly, not really, but I don't want to get into it right now." That sentence changes everything, because it tells the truth without forcing you to explain it. It keeps your boundaries intact, but it also keeps the door open. It says, "I'm not okay, and I'm not pretending I am, but I'm also choosing how much access you get to that truth." That is a completely different kind of power. So try this the next time somebody asks how you are. Pause, just for half a second, long enough to check whether the answer you're about to give is real or just familiar. Maybe some days the answer really is, "I'm fine." Good, say it. But when it isn't, at least know what you're doing when you use those words. Because the danger was never just the lie. The danger is how easily you can repeat it until it starts sounding true. Until other people believe it. Until you believe it. And that's how two harmless words turn into a quiet form of self-erasure. I'm fine. And maybe that's why constantly saying "I'm fine" feels so exhausting.